So now corporations is another business structure. These ones are actually very different and sometimes referred to as C corporation, mostly referred as C corporation. And this is an independent legal entity owned by shareholders. Now, this means that the corporation itself, not the shareholders that own it, is held legally liable for the actions and debts of the business. This is very different than a general partnership. Now, corporations are more complex than other business structures because they tend to have costly administrative fees and complex tax and legal requirements. Because of these issues, corporations are generally suggested for established larger companies with multiple employees. For businesses in that position, corporations offer the ability to sell ownership shares in the business through stock offerings. This is something where you probably heard it being called as going public through an initial public offering or IPO, and that's also a major selling point in attracting investment capital and high quality employees. That's something you want to think about. You also, as some personal information that is going to be required of you, you must obtain an EIN. In the guide, you can find more information about what an employer identification number is to start a corporation, and also a corporation is formed under the laws of the state in which it's registered. So we're not going to provide specific information about what the state of California requires, but you can look into the state that you're living in to see what the requirements are. You also want to follow the similar steps as sole proprietorship, where you need to establish a business name, register your legal name with your state government. And so I want to mention also C corporations, which actually limit the liability of directors, shareholders, employees, and officers. And the legal obligations of this type of business cannot become personal debt or obligations of any individual associated with the business. And actually, what I wanted to mention was the S corporations. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is for S corporations cannot have a non-resident alien as a shareholder. So you want to look into what those requirements are in your state. One of the things that I encourage you to do is actually talk to an accountant. If you're considering becoming a corporation or turning your business into a corporation, talk to an accountant to make sure that in your industry you are actually filing the right forms, and then also using the right business structure. If a corporation is something you're considering, definitely talk to an accountant first. As far as taxes go, they vary across different jurisdictions, but C corporations are required to file state income, payroll, and unemployment and disability taxes, which one major downside of C corporations is the double taxation that occurs, which is one of the reasons I highly encourage you to talk to an accountant to see what that means for your profit margins and for your income statements.